Recording is on.
Cool. Welcome to August 22nd, 2022, 220822. Uh, DXbiz call. Um, yeah, you can see the agenda in the chat here on HackMD. We're going to start with a couple new member intros. I think, yeah, Elon is maybe listening, but he's sick today. We will talk a little bit more about DXincubation. And then, yeah, was hoping to brainstorm around Carrot V1, a potential activation if it made sense for Bogota. And then a few other DX events. There's MCon 2, which is in early September. There's, I guess, DAPCon, which a few people may be going to in mid-September. There's Oktoberfest, and then there is the start of DevCon week / multiple weeks in Bogota. And then also there's a live proposal around DX Ventures and Nimi. So let's kick things off. So to start, if Prath Mesh, and would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself as an introduction?
Yeah. Hello, guys. This is Prathamesh Khandelwal. I'm a full stack developer, having a blockchain experience of 2 years. Before that, I was mostly working with the Web2 part, looking into the front end and back end side of the things. Besides that, I have a work experience with EPNS. I was working as an integrations engineer lead there, and the main purpose of the task was to define going on to the other protocols. If our protocol is there, then understanding their needs, their use cases, and then basically implementing whatever the needs of them, and uh, giving them the green signal to go with the collaboration. I guess I know Venki here, and I guess I also worked with Nathan with the modifications of Carrot. So yeah,
Cool.
that yeah.
Well, yeah, thanks for that info. Does Violet, do you want to speak? No? Just saying hello, maybe?
Accidentally clicked. Sorry.
Yeah, cool. Thanks for joining. Yeah, this is you probably know, but we have a bunch of different calls throughout the week that are open and public to the world. This is the DX Biz call where we talk, strategy, potential opportunities across the products and across the different, also DX Ventures, and a lot of times related to DX events that we're doing, which all kind of relate to spreading the awareness of DXDAO and the products that we're building. But thanks for joining. I'm sure you'll get more involved in the dev calls as well. And then we also have Alexander. Would you like to give an intro?
Yeah, sure. Thanks. I'm Alex, coming from Serbia. So I've been a software engineer for the last 14 years, more or less. And interestingly enough, I've been in the crypto space for the last 6 years. And my background is mostly JavaScript oriented, but also next to JavaScript, I mean, literally everything with from the JavaScript ecosystem. In the last 6 years, I also worked very, very, intensively with Solidity. So I think with my skill set and my expertise, I could be a good addition to the team. I actually started off slowly getting familiarized with different projects, just scattering across the different code bases and just trying to figure out basically what you guys built so far, and quite interesting portfolio of products. And I'm kind of trying to find a perfect fit right now and see how can I basically help out with my contribution. And I'm really looking forward to meet most of you, because this kind of organization actually looks very, very interesting, and it really kind of shows the true power of decentralized autonomy, and I really like how the whole ecosystem is actually organized. And yeah, I'm just looking forward to start contributing as soon as possible. And help out on building and just delivering new stuff on any of those products. So I have a close eye on a couple of products which I think I could be a best possible fit, but we will see that in the upcoming few days, and then hopefully I will start developing and contributing as soon as possible. Yeah, looking forward to meet you all.
Thanks, Alex. Yeah, it's good to see both of you here. I would say, and you just mentioned it yourself, but yeah, DXDAO does operate quite a bit different than a lot of other entities in the space.
Indeed.
And as part of that, it's good to have new outside perspective, especially people that have been in the space for a while. And so don't be afraid. And it will take some time to figure out, like, DXDAO is about two things, like initiative and then reaching consensus, which is like there's no boss you can just bring a new idea to, but you have to gather consensus from the community. But if you have observations about our current products, or things within our current products, or the way that DXDAO is working, if you have new ideas related to current products or related to new products, you can always start to share those, maybe more internally at first, and then gather if there's good ideas, those can gather steam, and then eventually those ideas can be shared more publicly in the forums and stuff. And so as you will start to see, there's always, DXDAO is very fluid, and it can always make changes. It's well positioned right now, I think, compared to a lot of entities in the space, but it's like focus, and its priorities and its direction is always moving. It moves like a big ship, and like most of the time, but it can change direction. And if there's new interesting opportunities that people bring to the DAO, it always has the potential to dive into and explore those just as much as its current products too. So always feel free to bring, and this comes mainly from people bringing new perspectives, rather than sometimes us contributors that have been here for a long time, we get hung up in, I would say, we get stuck in mainly thinking about the current things that DXDAO is working on, rather than like other ideas that DXDAO could also be working on, or new observations and things. So feel free to share those within your squads and your teams, and anyone.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. So getting into the next topics of DXincubation, I guess what I just said is a little bit related to that. We've had a few scenarios, like Carrot, was this idea that Federico mainly and team came up with, and that's becoming its own product. And so that DXDAO has the potential to do that with its other products, other ideas that come from within. And then we also have scenarios where teams and opportunities come from outside DXDAO, and DXDAO can support those, give grant investments, and then also is trying to further the idea of incubating those products. So a lot of products and teams out there may have a handful of people that have a little idea, and they have the capacity to build it, but there's obviously all the other parts that come with products, like marketing and your community, and partnerships, and integrating it into the rest of DeFi or whatever vertical you're in. And so DXDAO, potentially with its infrastructure of squads and teams in place, has the potential to scale, being able to help the different suite of products that it is building itself, but also supporting and investing in as well. So that's not like we're not perfect at it. It's quite different than like maybe an incubation studio that just does that, or a startup studio, or something like that. But I think DXDAO can get better and better at this. And if anyone has an interest to help form and be a bigger part of what that kind of incubator model might be, feel free to reach out to the DX Ventures team, and we've never had a person that was like specifically 100% just looking after DX Ventures, or if DX Ventures expands into incubation. But if that becomes more and more important to DXDAO, I think DXDAO, that role or that position is an opportunity for someone.
Yeah, there was a Koopa Troopa post a few months ago with a graphic putting different organizations and DAOs in different categories, like service DAO, protocol DAO, investment DAO, whatever. They put DXDAO in the category of, I believe, service DAO. At the same time, there is a developer DAO, there's protocol DAO, there's product DAO. We ourselves kind of like have identified ourselves as a product DAO, but realistically, those are all different operational models. And it's like when we look at what we are doing, we fit into quite a few of those categories from a high level. But looking into the operations of the different types of organizations, they are structured and they function differently. So we cannot realistically be a few of those. And if we wish to be something, it has to follow a certain like operational structure. For example, are we a protocol DAO developing the governance system? Are we a product DAO overseeing product development of independent squads that do hiring by themselves and we just guide them on their roadmaps? Or are we a DAO that is a developer DAO that hires developers as a cooperative and we build together without taking the role of like a manager on top? Like it's kind of a split identity, and I think it would be very beneficial for us moving forward if we kind of like looked into it during the team building retreat, kind of like crystallize our identity and how we wish to operate.
Yeah, I think it's the reason it's tricky is because DXDAO is unique. It fitting into one of those categories of DAOs has always been hard and is still tricky. But it has this force of this large group of this collective of workers across lots of disciplines, and has the power to do pretty much anything that we, I guess, don't need a legal entity for. And then it's up to rep holders, which a lot are here, and then other rep holders and also DXC holders to smartly define what this organism and collective should focus its time and attention on, which is a unique position for DXDAO to be in. And we have our current priorities, but we could expand those. We can alter those. We can adjust parts of those. We've done one reorganization of priorities with products in the past, and we can always alter that going forward if it makes sense to. So really interesting. And then so next topic, Carrot V1 activation. So Carrot V1, some of us have been playing with a very basic front end of Carrot V1, which Federico has shared. I think Federico's here, but in the Carrot channel, you can play around with it if you want. There's some test tokens and things. It's on Rinkeby or Gorley. I think it's on Rinkeby. Can't remember. Do you know, Nathan? Was that on Rinkeby, right? Anyway, and so there is obviously work to get a front end in place, and we obviously still have the Carrot Alpha or Carrot Beta Alpha version that we've been using. and we currently use that for campaigns and things. And so we have this idea of, seeing if there's some other activation, and it could be small scale as an experiment, it could be larger scale, but smaller seems easier. But it was a great way to talk to people and explain kind of what Carrot is in Amsterdam when we did the Carrot activation around social awareness growth of like DXDAO's Twitter and stuff. And so I'm wondering if there's something. Well, it partly depends on, it could be on the current version of Carrot, potentially Carrot V1, but it doesn't change the fact that we could try to use Carrot, which is one of DXDAO's main products, in some capacity in Bogota, and we have enough time to have this set up, quite well beforehand. We still have some decent time to get something in place, but we don't currently have a great idea. We had talked about using it, related to Swapper in Paris and things. It didn't really make sense at that point, but I was wondering if there's some other capacity we could use it, and that's really interesting, that at least becomes a talking point that everyone could have to use as a talking point in Bogota at the events and things. And yeah, the social one was interesting because that was the first time that had ever been done. Maybe that's something else related to social, like growing an overall number related to our Discord or our Twitter or some other platform. Maybe something to do with bounties at our hackathon, or some other number or goal that could be set around the hackathon, which is interesting, even if it's something like number of submissions or something at Infinite Hackathon. But yeah, I was hoping people could spend some time this week thinking about this, and then sharing any ideas in any of the DXDAO channels, just to think crazy ideas, think interesting. But right now we don't have a great idea, so we need to think of some ideas and start to share those. And if we have one decent idea, we can have the community kind of work on that idea and make it better and better and better. But we want to, DXDAO should and wants to use its tools for experimentation and seeing how we can leverage these new tools that we are building. And they make good use cases so that other communities will eventually be able to also use these tools that we're building. So
yeah, and also for Carrot in particular, the vision for the product is to be permissionless, so that organizations, communities can create their own campaigns permissionlessly. So the strategy should really be to literally have Carrot V1, once it's fleshed out with the proper front end that allows anyone to create a campaign, we should have it deployed on every single EVM chain possible. Of those that we've spoken to, everybody has loved it. We've spoken to Nia's EVM chain, Aurora, Celo, Metis. Everybody hearing about Carrot loves it. And though all those networks have their own ecosystems with different DeFi products, DAOs, and all of those would be eager to use Carrot. So instead of us kind of like pushing it on our own and trying to drive engagement on one network, we should focus on building it. And once it's built and ready, we should deploy it on all of those networks and start marketing it. And then those products, those organizations and other communities will be using it themselves. but this brings up a very important question that could be somewhat of a prerequisite for this to actually happen, and that is a DAO governing Carrot itself. And then the question arises, how do we do that multi-chain if Carrot would be deployed on all of these different networks? And we kind of have the same question we're trying to figure out right now for, I believe, the guilds. Like, do we allow DAOs to spin up by themselves and us bless them from mainnet, or do we ourselves have somewhat of a committee deployed on each network? And so we will be facing a similar dilemma when we launch Carrot V1 on different networks. How do we have a DAO governing Carrot V1 multi-chain?
Yeah. One idea that I'm just forming, thinking about what many people have said so far, like Dirk has shared the idea of when we're creating maybe some merch or some art in Colombia to really focus on using local resources, either artists or manufacturers and stuff as well. And so one path in general for that Carrot can be used for is the charitable space. And sometimes the charitable space is not the most interesting like use cases for blockchain. It's always a for good thing. But one idea could be maybe teaming up with someone like Giveth, and maybe there's a local cause that is highly relevant to like blockchain in Colombia or blockchain in Latin America, and it's an organization like a quality organization down there, and DXDAO uses Carrot in the capacity to do matching. Basically, I know this is, there's other ways to do this as well. It doesn't have to be permissionless using Carrot, but if we had something like if enough people at DevCon donate to the Giveth campaign related to Colombia blocked Web3 down, that's very local, a very local cause. If that reaches, $10,000 in gifts, or even maybe more than that, the DXDAO would the Carrot would pay out like a matching, and so we'd actually give the carrots to the charity or to the Giveth campaign actually, and so if people got the reached the goal amount of, let's say, 10,000, then the carrots that the Giveth campaign holds can be redeemed and turned into actual DAI that comes from DXDAO that's locked up. Yeah, so it's a social cause. It's a little bit similar to what we did with embedding the carrots in the Atlantis World grant that we gave to Atlantis World. They actually can hold, Giveth. Well, the Giveth campaign holds these, and then we have a little flyer that like explains to people that these carrots sit within this charitable cause, and that if they and their friends can give to this cause, and that cause reaches a certain amount, then the matching is paid out. And so obviously in charitable world, matching is always a very popular thing. On NPR, they do it all the time. But there's usually like a family that's saying, like, today, if the total gets to this, the family is going to match. And so I don't know what they call it, a campaign or something like that. But if there's some benefit to getting the carrots in the hands of the charity or Giveth ahead of time, that's interesting. We could maybe try that with more than one cause, or we could try that with just one cause and keep it simple. But that's all I got so far. So if you have any thoughts about that, yeah, bring them to the chat channels, and maybe we can refine it more.
Social and local are good things, I think, to incorporate. Yeah, it's a crossover. So try to brainstorm on those. I'll think about it.
Yeah, and social and local. We're also talking about art or merch and NFTs potentially. Maybe there's physical art in actual Bogota combined with it becoming NFT art, and maybe DXDAO, instead of giving out physical merch, which there's a lot of physical merch in the world these days, maybe too much of a waste in Web3, we give out digital merch. Still, no project has given out great digital merch that I know of. Paris was a disaster of physical t-shirts everywhere. I mean, I liked ours, and ours were very limited. There were about 50,000 different Ave t-shirts, which seems like a waste a little bit. But maybe any digital merch ideas, please share those as well. Yeah. Next, we'll get to DXevents. There's a DAO event called MCon 2, which is the last year there was one. I think John and I were there. It's happening again in early September. It's probably the most very DAO focused event. I mean, it's US centric. There'll be some people coming probably from abroad, different places. It's 3 days of very DAO focused presentations, and it's actually this year is going to be in a school. So there's a bunch of different classrooms, and different people can take a classroom and present ideas and things. And I'm planning to give a lecture in a classroom about to students of Web3 about unconquerable product ownership, which DXDAO is pretty good at, and it's become a hot topic in this Tornado Cash space. And yeah, we're learning that there's a lot of things you can do to eliminate weak points, which tend to come with points of centralization, but there are still important other points within the system that even DXDAO itself uses points of centralization. And the question is, what can we do in the space? And there's more people talking about this on Twitter and things, but more things we can do. And it often comes down to people running their own nodes for Ethereum, for IPFS, for all the different dApps. And so there's still, there's no perfect answer, but DXDAO has done a lot of work in this space, and hopefully can share some good insights of what has been happening and what we're doing with the DAO space as that topic becomes has come way more into the limelight because of Tornado Cash and what's expanded from there about censoring and ETH2 and all that kind of stuff. And then I guess not on the agenda, but yeah, DAppCon. Nathan, if you want to say anything about DAppCon, if anyone else might be there as well. You have anything to add?
Yeah, it's been a busy year with big and smaller conferences along the way. We kind of feel like we're making really good impact wherever we attend, but it's taking a toll at the same time. All the travel, we do work remotely. We are nomads, but still it is a bit of a disruption. So we've missed a few conferences in Barcelona, in Warsaw, quite a few in some other places. There's one in Berlin. I think after Paris, people are taking a break and will mostly just wait till DevCon. But for the local crowd, European-based contributors, or maybe even those in Germany, it would be great to attend. It is kind of not pivotal, but really important for the industry, because it's the German scene is pretty strong. We will have some of the thought leaders of the space attending and talking, and I believe we could still follow up online, so there's no like real need to attend in person. But for those who are able to, it would be not a great experience, but an amazing opportunity to network and get to know some heavyweights in the industry.
Yeah, and I think DAppCon is largely organized by the Gnosis ecosystem, or has been in the past, and I think still is, but that's obviously a close connection to DXDAO and ties in with a lot of things we're doing. I believe there's also a ETH Berlin hackathon happening, like around it.
Yeah, I actually have a ticket if anyone wants to hack. I probably will sit that one out. I was initially thinking of attending, but then I realized it would be a bit much for me. So it is happening, I believe, the same week, a few days later. It's a good way to combine both DAppCon and ETH Berlin. But yeah, if anyone wishes to hack at ETH Berlin, I have a ticket.
Do you know if ETH Berlin's also doing virtual in addition to in person?
That's a good question. Off the top of my head, I believe not. I got a hacker ticket for ETH Berlin. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, and then we're still working hard on Infinite alongside everything. We'll have another meeting this week, and then we keep promoting it. Our co-organizers are promoting it as well. And then we have some time to make a plan, maybe make a good plan for the big attendance that we're going to have at DevCon. And then last thing on here, and then I guess we can end a little early, is the Nimi proposal from the Nimi team to DXDAO/DXventures is live on Gnosis chain. There's a mirror proposal, and on mainnet there is the main proposal with a movement of funds. It has more details, or finalized details, in the proposal. There may be a little hiccup with the mirror proposal, which is just a mirror proposal, but actually, given our governance, it actually sends one token, and that token may not actually get sent. So we potentially might, if the proposal passes, but it can't be executed, the question is, does it actually still count if the proposal doesn't execute and it just passes? So we may want to redo that one. But it's not a huge deal because it's just a mirror proposal, but it is a meaningful signal proposal, which will have votes and attention on it. But I don't think it can execute. So we can talk about that. But you check out DXGov, check out those proposals and all the other proposals that are there. And if there's nothing else anyone would like to add, we can call this meeting a little short. Anyone have anything else they want to talk about or add? Nothing.
Hope Nylon, if he's listening, gets better or recovers fully.
Cool. Thanks everyone for coming. Have a great week and see you in the channels in the metaverse.
Thanks. Cheers.
Thanks.
Bye.